Liora was a quiet girl who listened more than she spoke. She lived at the edge of a small village where the stars shone brighter than anywhere else. Every evening, she would sit on the roof of her home, legs tucked beneath her, eyes gazing at the sky, waiting for the wind to tell its stories. And one night, it did. It wasn't a loud whisper. It was more like a hush between the rustling of leaves and the soft song of crickets. But Liora heard it clearly. "Come to the hill," it said, "where the lantern waits." Liora blinked, heart fluttering. She wrapped herself in her starry shawl and tiptoed down the stairs, past the sleeping breaths of her family, and out into the cool velvet night. The hill was just outside the village, a gentle mound covered in wildflowers that glowed faintly under moonlight. As she climbed, the wind swirled around her, not cold but comforting. At the top, she saw it. A small lantern, floating midair, gently bobbing like a jellyfish in the breeze. It had no flame, just a soft golden light inside that pulsed like a heartbeat. Liora reached out. And the lantern spoke. "Hello," it said in a voice that sounded like warmth itself. Liora blinked. "You can talk?" "Yes," said the lantern. "And I've been waiting for you." Liora tilted her head. "Why me?" "Because you listen," the lantern replied simply. "Most walk past wind and forget it speaks." Liora stepped closer. "What's your name?" "Nilo," it said. "I am a memory lantern. I hold forgotten paths. And yours begins tonight." The lantern gently floated to her side. "Would you like to see where the stars go when they fall?" Liora nodded without hesitation. And the hill opened beneath her feet, not in a scary way, but like a flower blooming upside down. She floated with Nilo into a tunnel of golden light. They landed softly on cotton grass in a floating valley, clouds drifted beneath their feet, and the air shimmered with magic. A turtle the size of a bed looked up at them with sleepy eyes. "Ah," it rumbled. "The listener has arrived." "Is this Liora Valley?" she asked. The turtle blinked slowly. "Yes. Though most forget it exists. I am Bellum, the cloud turtle. I guard the first dream." "What is the first dream?" she whispered. Bellum reached under his shell and pulled out a tiny seed. "This." It grew when the first kind word was spoken. Liora held it gently in her palm. It pulsed with light. "You must carry it," Bellum said. "It only blooms when kindness echoes." Nilo led her to a river that glowed beneath moonlight like liquid stars. Instead of water, it seemed to flow with memories, tiny shimmering scenes passed within. She saw a boy giving his last slice of pie to a kitten. A grandmother brushing her granddaughter's hair. A hug shared on a rainy day. "What is this place?" Liora asked. "The river of remembered kindness," Nilo said. "It only flows for those with the seed." Liora dipped her fingers into the water. It was warm and filled her with comfort. A fish leapt out, made entirely of light, and sang a tiny lullaby before diving back in. As they walked, Liora noticed Nilo's light flickering. "Are you tired?" she asked. "I'm remembering," Nilo said. "I was once a boy. Long ago. I forgot to listen to the wind, and my dreams faded. So I became a lantern, to help others remember." Liora gently reached up and touched his side. "You still shine." Nilo glowed brighter. "So do you." In the middle of a glade stood an ancient tree with silver leaves and roots that hummed like lullabies. It whispered stories when you leaned close. Liora placed the seed near its roots. The tree gently unfurled a branch and handed her a glowing feather. "Speak a truth," the tree said. "I'm sometimes scared no one hears me," Liora whispered. The tree hugged her with a vine. "But the stars always do." the feather turned into a key made of starlight. They came at dawn, hundreds of birds with glowing wings, circling above. They're the wish keepers, Nilo explained. Each carries one dream. Yours are among them. The birds surrounded Liora, singing her name in soft chirps. One landed on her shoulder. Its feathers shimmered with images, her drawing stories, helping her little brother sleep, sitting alone but smiling. They remember, Nilo said. Liora cried. Not from sadness, but from the feeling of being seen. The next valley was filled with floating flowers. Each echoed sounds from long ago, giggles, lullabies, soft footsteps, even quiet prayers. Liora sat among them, letting the echoes wash over her. She heard her mother's voice singing to her as a baby. Her own laughter from when she first saw a butterfly. The seed pulsed again, growing tiny roots that tickled her palm. It's becoming ready, Nilo whispered. They reached a glowing lake with stars floating in it. From the depths rose the moon whale, a shimmering silver creature with soft eyes and a voice like 1,000 harps. Would you like to fly? It asked. Yes, Liora breathed. The whale lifted her gently onto its back, and they soared across the lake, which reflected dreams like glass. She saw people's secret hopes, to be brave, to be loved, to be remembered. And she felt her own heart open. They arrived at a bridge made entirely of soft, glowing stars. Each step felt like walking on a sigh. Nilo floated beside her. I must leave you here for a little while, he said. The next part must be yours alone. Liora felt nervous, but nodded. With the seed in her hand, the feather key around her neck, and a heart full of dreams, she stepped onto the bridge. Beyond the star bridge was a cave bathed in lavender light. Inside, the walls shimmered with gentle images, children hugging animals, elders smiling, even a deer curling beside a sleeping fox. A whisper greeted her. This is where dreams of kindness rest until they are needed again. Liora walked deeper in. Her seed glowed brightly now. She sat in the middle of the cave, closed her eyes, and let the warmth of thousands of kind moments surround her like a blanket. As she exited the cave, a strange mist rolled in. From its stepped a fawn, its body made of silvery fog and soft starlight. It looked at her with curious eyes, then bowed. I am Eluan, it said softly. I appear only to those who carry growing light. Liora smiled. Would you like to walk with me? Eluan nodded. As they walked, the fawn told stories without speaking, just soft pictures drifting into Leora's heart. A lonely bird finding its flock. A teacup mended with gold. A child standing up for another. The stories made Liora feel braver. Next, they came to a clearing where no time passed. Flowers never wilted, birds never aged, and the sun hovered forever on the edge of rising. Liora felt safe there, but also a little still. Why does this place never change? She asked Eluan. Because some wish to freeze good moments, he said. But life must move, or it cannot grow. She touched a dandelion, and it softly turned to golden dust, drifting forward. The clearing sighed in relief. The next challenge was gentle but vast, a mountain that hummed like a sleeping dragon. Every step felt like being rocked in a cradle. Liora climbed slowly, Eluan beside her. She passed memories carved into stone, a child sharing a coat, a baker leaving bread for the hungry, a stranger offering an umbrella in the rain. As she reached the top, a warm wind wrapped around her like an embrace. The seed in her hand bloomed, not into a flower, but into a soft orb of light. It floated beside her, humming gently. At the summit, she found a single feather, old, faded, but humming with power. It's from Nilo, Eluan said. When he was still human. Liora picked it up gently, and memories flooded her. A boy alone in a tower, looking up at the stars. A wish whispered to the wind. A light forming where loneliness had lived. I want to give it back to him, she whispered. You will, said Eluan. But first, you must cross the last path. Back in the valley, Nilo floated toward her, his light dimmer but smiling. You found it, he said, eyes glowing at the feather. She handed it to him. And suddenly, he changed. Nilo's lantern form shimmered, and for a brief moment, Liora saw the boy he once was. Young, kind-eyed, and filled with wonder. I remember now, he said softly. You brought me back. Tears welled in her eyes. You were never truly gone. He hugged her, or rather, the light around him did. Nor were you. They arrived at a lake as still as glass. When Liora looked into it, she didn't see her reflection, she saw every kind thing she had done. Big and small. She saw her helping her little brother tie his shoes. Leaving a painted stone on someone's porch. Picking up a bird that had fallen from its nest. I didn't think I mattered that much, she whispered. You matter in ways the world forgets to say out loud, said Nilo. A single star fell into the lake, and a wish formed without words. The valley's final gift was a meadow where the sky reached down like a curtain of soft light. Liora stepped into it, barefoot. Every star hummed a different note. She reached up, and for a moment, her fingertips brushed the stars themselves. Not hot. Not sharp. Just calm. She whispered a promise to the sky, I'll keep the kindness alive. And the sky whispered back, we know. The stars above looked the same. The wind still hummed. But Liora felt different, full of warmth that didn't come from outside. She tiptoed back into her house, curled into her bed, and closed her eyes. And in the dream that came, Nilo floated beside her, glowing, singing, whole. You're not just a listener now, he said. You're a keeper. The next morning, her little brother woke to find a glowing feather on his pillow. Her mother found wildflowers blooming in a cup that had been empty. Her father heard laughter in the wind. And Liora? She smiled to herself as she watched the sky. The valley was far away, but its light stayed in her. And every night, when others slept, she whispered to the wind, I still hear you. And sometimes, the wind whispered back.